Channel 9 News every night, live at 8:30.
That's it.
Updates from Daz.
Absolutely. More updates. They're getting impatient, this lot. Look at these two. They're already, this one's coming out now. Look.
Ready to go.
Been waiting all day.
Yep, they know it's 8:30. Don't bother coming out early.
Yeah. It's like, okay, let's go. Go on, put your little bag in there. Go on. We'll come out in a second. So how's your day been, mate?
Yeah, mate, another day working. So a little bit of progress is always good. Something's good, something's bad, and come home and hope for some more progress. That's all we can ask for.
Yeah, nice. I went had a smash at the gym today, arms day today.
Hey,
that was a bit of fun. I thought I'll start back when I first started going to the gym. I had a 3-week bit of a cardio and all over body workout, and then after that 3 weeks, for the next 2 months, I did a solid, like arms, legs, chest, shoulders, back day sort of thing. Yep. I thought I'll just go back to where I started, after my first 3 weeks on the first program I have for myself. And I'll just start light and then I'll, crank into it. So
load up.
Start going and, man, I'm struggling to get through all these sets, I was getting through them. I was getting the burn. I was just getting there. And then, I kind of looked and realised, oh, hang on a sec. This was the last set of, the last gym sets that I was doing. So it was after I'd been going to the gym for almost 3 months. So
whoops.
I'm like, oh. But anyway.
I feel actually better than you thought you were.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly a lot more advanced. I thought I'd be a lot worse after 18 months, but still nowhere near where I was. But I won't tell them to get back. So
your arms might be a bit shaky tonight with the scissors then, eh?
Mate, I'll tell you that I was shaking at the gym today.
They go to there's nothing left in the tank.
Oh, mate, yeah. Doing some overhead tricep extensions and my arms go up.
Yeah.
Take it away. It's like,
uncoordination kicks back in.
Yeah, that's it. But it'll be fun tomorrow, leg day.
Yeah, that's the best one. When you walk out like a baby giraffe, you've done a good session.
I'm not looking forward to doing 5 sets of 8 on the barbell squats.
Yeah, giddy up, get it done. Yeah. A few area in early, mate. Charlie Deeb as always. G'day, buddy.
Mate.
Mark, hi. Donna Bennett, as always. Elizabeth, as always. Richard, g'day, Richard. Peter, again, g'day, mate. A few regular names popping up all the time. Mr. Glenn Thomas himself, g'day, buddy. Tara, looking forward to this slot. What is this slot, Daz? Maureen Teresia.
Yeah, well, I wasn't actually going to cut this lot here. So these are marble over, another just a wild type, so to speak. So these will just be hits. But the other clutch are Blonde Max, and they've been extremely impatient. They literally picked later this morning, and there's 2 already out. And the other ones are not waiting behind. So I've left that clutch together because people, I don't know about you, mate, but I know recently I've had people talk about eggs and moving eggs and changing eggs and candling eggs and all that. And we say all the time about just leave them. If something goes off, and you'll see in a minute when I get this other clutch out, there's a few eggs that are completely covered in mold and stuff. Yep. And there's one buried in the bottom, which has actually got its head poking out as well. So
yeah, so they can get out. In the wild, there are clumps, and they all get out.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get cutting, shall we? We'll try and keep this shorter.
So I'll take the wild types in this clutch, mate, again.
Yeah. No, this time I'm going for the wild types. You can go for the marbles.
We'll let the bed settle on this one. We'll let the dust calm down from last night's one.
Yeah. Not looking forward to the next one, especially if you start getting into some of that triple gene stuff.
Oh, yes. That'll be tricky. Rebecca, good evening. Could be watching another session. Yep. We're just going to do a quick one tonight and roll a few eggs out.
Yeah. I've all right. Got the camera. There we go.
Bo, g'day, mate.
So actually, we were just chatting before we went live, and this little slip here, we actually watched the guy rub his head across and actually slice the egg out and then pop his head out. So it was pretty cool to watch.
Live cut. Couldn't wait for you in your shaky arms.
Yeah, I reckon. The old hand, especially, I don't know about you, but you do forearms. I get the 20-kilo bar and do forearm rolls. So you grab the bar and, just like you
just roll off the edge of the bench. Yep.
Roll it, do 20 forward, 20 backwards, 15 forwards, 15 back, so on and so forth, and do 3 sets of that. And I'll tell you what, your forearms, you know all about it.
Pumped up.
Yep, absolutely. Wow, that's right.
Bubbly, bubbly.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So hopefully there's a couple of nice ones in that clutch we picked the other night. I actually picked a couple to keep back. So
nice and light.
Yeah. I might put on me. I haven't got them. No point putting on me stronger goggles. So this dude was poking out. We grab him.
Get him ready. Michael, all the way from Mackay. G'day, mate. From way up north.
Thanks for coming along.
Kurt Jasper's also from up north. Kurt's another leave those eggs alone, Mr. Jaspers.
Yes.
Tyler Koplik, hello, buddy. How are you? Hope you didn't get in too much trouble with your wife for that package I sent you.
Mate, what they don't know doesn't hurt. Just
it's just some heat cords, but I put a nice note on there for him. Bit of entertainment for his missus. Nice light one as well. Too.
Yeah. Scared to ask what you wrote on the note.
Just something to get Tyler in trouble, that's all.
There'll be a note on a bottle of Bailey's, let me tell you that much.
I can almost mind read what it's going to say.
Let's just say we're not going to repeat it here.
and let's just say that seal better be still intact on that bottle, so there's nothing been added to it.
Oh, hang on. It didn't say anything about the contents. You just said a litre bottle. It's not about the contents.
It'll be a fresh one, don't you worry. Well, Roberts, g'day, mate, as always. Oh. Mr. Roberts. Wild type, nice contrast.
Yeah, I like the contrast.
Bo wants to know how many clutches you got, Darren. Well, they're not done yet, so he's still counting.
Yeah, I haven't finished yet. Still waiting on one to lay. Hasn't laid yet. It's very close. It was knotted up yesterday, so I actually thought it might have been there this morning. But could be there now.
Could be. I think I've got 1 or 2 to go. I hope I've got definitely one good one to come. It's actually late, starting to scare me at day 35.
Ooh.
It's normally when I go, well, have a little bit of a play with her later. Give her a bit of humidity and a little bit of out for a stretch.
Yeah, the one I got just the other day was over 30.
Yep, I've had a few, 34, 35 days this year. It's strange weather.
Yeah, it's a nice lighter coloured one.
Yep, very nice. Alive and well.
Yeah, give it a little tickle.
David, day off work, finally here early. Lucky you, day off on a Monday. What a legend.
What a legend. I had a day off today. And tomorrow, and the next day, the next day.
Shut up.
It's really good going to the gym. There's like no one there. It's like unreal.
Yeah, I bet. Middle of the day, empty gym.
Yeah.
Matthew, good evening, gentlemen. Ryan, another good night alive. G'day, Ryan.
He's a nice little head poking out.
Alive and well.
Yeah, I'm not prodding their heads out as much with these lot. Just going to get through them so I can get onto the pretty ones. The blondes over here cruising around.
They look pretty active anyway. They look ready to roll.
Yeah. Oh, pretty much most have picked.
Mr. Adam Ant, as always. G'day, mate.
Hey, mate. Thanks, everyone, for coming along on their board Monday nights at home.
Yep. Bit of live snip. It's always better than the trash that's on Netflix.
Yeah. I'm still watching Vikings. I haven't finished it yet.
That's a great show. I love that show.
Yep.
Lagatha. I miss Lagatha a lot. Not as much as Carlisi, though. David, Harry, hi guys. Emily Jane, morning. Don't know where you are in the world of morning, but good morning to you anyway.
Morning, yeah. Evening for us, morning for you. Oh, this one.
Justin, g'day, mate.
Got some freckly patterning going on there.
That's a bit weird pattern, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually had another one like it in the other clutch as well. I put a little K on. Just because
Very exploded looking pattern.
yeah. I've actually hatched out a world first as well. I actually hatched out a jagtable. I'm going to call it a jarble.
Jarble. It's got some neuro issues.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it. I actually I got a little video thing I could probably show later. But yeah, I actually flicked out to Marty. I haven't had a chance to message anyone else just to see if like they've seen anything. It's just it's obviously got something neuro. It had a feed and knocked back a second one. Took it, but then let go and my wife's having a bit of trouble getting it. So I went over and had a look. And she goes, "It's not right. It's like twisted to the side." And I thought, I wonder if it's something anyone's seen before, or it's just a random anomaly. It's just unfortunately it is what it is. But yeah, it's like holds its head to the side, and it's kind of struggles.
Yeah, it can happen. Anything can have a defect that just loses those motor skills and lack of balance. Not quite right.
Yeah, it's also got a nice little cool pattern.
Not
always
alive and well.
Yep. This guy's poking his head out here. Look at that. It's almost got a pattern set.
Mr. Williams.
Some of these are quite cool. Some of the adults are quite nice. There's a bit of variation in them.
Yes. Always in that wide genus now when we've got children's merging with Stimsons, according to Parks and Wildlife.
Yeah.
Lunga, what are we cutting? These are just marble by normal children, so 100% het marbles for this clutch. Some blonde max coming up next. Darren in his army of Antaresia.
Yeah. I think I actually bred ants before I bred Morelia, from memory. Back in the dinosaur era.
Katie finally made it on time. Oh, mate, you guess. I don't want to take your fame.
You want me to have the next pick as well?
You can pick them all. Not going to help your scoreboard from last night, though.
Well, there you go. He's even correct. Hello. So you can see that one's a little bit more darker and spotted compared to the other ones, which are a little bit more.
Yeah, much more contrast, much lighter on the creamy colour. Jan Smith, hello, mother.
Jan.
Always stalking us online.
Just making sure you're not getting yourself in any more trouble. You're in enough trouble at home.
Always.
You're always in it. It's just the depth that varies. That's what I say.
Pretty standard.
You can notice some of these eggs are very thin on the wall. It's probably just a lack of calcium in the female.
I find a lot of my ants are like that, though. The ant eggs are nothing like carpet eggs.
Yep.
That's another lighter looking one.
Yeah.
Cool looking. Cool. Almost a little exanthic looking.
They are, aren't they? They have that little look about them.
That egg skin thick. Sabby, hello. Sharon, hello.
He's just going to fall out of the egg that big.
Yep. Sabby, keen to see your blonde max.
Yeah, there's a few people want the blonde max.
Popular little things. Not so many around.
No, this line stems back partially to some of Scarfy's line from back in the day, and he was one of the go-to men for blonde max. Yep. 20 years ago. See all the difference in that one. It's much smaller patterning.
Yeah. Beautiful reduced thing.
Yeah. So, what with anything? Have to hold back a few and
hold back. Refine.
Yeah, that's it. So, lucky last for this little clutch.
Lucky last wild type. Oh, Mr. Tanks by Congo in the house. My man Anthony, how are you, buddy? If you want some flush-looking tanks, check out Mr. Tanks by Congo. Does some beautiful work down there, down south in COVID Central.
So, look at that one.
Wild type.
Yeah, the pattern. So when we kind of get that one, and there's a more
something to compare to,
little blotchy one. You probably see the difference in the pattern. So this one's obviously this one here. little bit
And
more
the colour.
bigger blocks. Yep, and the colour.
Very thick in the pattern, almost a granity look, that one on the left.
Yeah, I'm just going to start naming it, mate.
Just give it a name.
Mutation Central. Saw it here first.
Variation's a wonderful thing.
Yep. Okay, just let me move the F pen here and one hand, so we'll just
clean up that one. Chrissy Miller. Hello from the Reptile Lifestyle, for sure.
Right.
Craig Barney, what other chat do you have running? It's being streamed to Morelia by Design and straight to Darren Morelia by Design's YouTube page. He's got his operational. It goes straight to KHP Reptiles from my page. Shortly, my YouTube will be verified. Now they believe me that I actually am Brent Smith.
It's amateur YouTube channels. But we're working on it. We'll get there slowly but surely. We'll improve things as we go along.
Yeah, got some plans. We just need some time. We're both a little bit under the pump most of the time. This time of year is a crazy busy time for hatching and feeding and getting things set up. So it's very hard to get everything done. I'm trying to finish off a kitchen reno and flat out at work. It's all happening on all fronts.
Yeah. Never ends, mate. There's always something to do.
That was a good sized clutch, Daz. How many was in that?
I don't know. I didn't count. What do we got? Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13.
Good sized bunch for children's.
Yeah, 13 in that little one. It's not bad.
Braden. G'day, Braden.
Yeah. I'm going to sec to just these.
Yes, Katie Gordon. The waiting game is so painful. There is actually a solution for that. If you have like 50 clutches like Darren, they just hatch every day. You don't have to wait more than 24 hours for your next clutch.
It's a bit like that.
I don't recommend it, but there is a solution.
I don't recommend it either.
Yep.
So right, just clean the utensils.
Yep. Adam's asking, people cut eggs and some don't. Understand the reasons for both. Love watching it, but can I ask, when you both decided to cut, what do you look for? What signs do you look for?
Yeah, well, for me, I wait until the first egg pick because you can have temperature. The biggest reason you can have temperature fluctuations in the incubator. You can be at work and you get a hot day and it might go a degree hotter than normal. It might go a little bit cooler on a cold day. So you're going to get variations. So if you look at, any kind of research, you'll find there's a guideline of when something's laid to when it'll hatch. It might be 45, or Morelia is commonly known as 55 days, for example. But depending on where that is and how hot it is, it might be day 50, it might be day 60 or day 70 if it's slightly cooler. The cooler it is, the longer it goes.
Yep.
So use that as a guideline, as an idea that, okay, they're due to hatch now, but it doesn't mean they're not going to go earlier than 55 days. So if they go 53 days and you go, well, mate, you're not due to come out for another 2 days, I'm going to leave you there. And those other ones are trying to come out as well. You don't pip them, you run the risk of those animals drowning in the egg through possible lack of egg tooth development or actually breaking the tooth off when they're trying to come, trying to get out, trying to cut the egg open. So as a bit of a safety, when you see the first egg pip or you can see there's a couple of slices on the eggs, that's a good time to say, well, if one's coming out, the others are not going to be far behind. And as you saw with that clutch I did there, you're literally just cutting. I don't even normally cut a big circle. I do it so you guys can see. Normally, I'll just cut a V. I would peel that V back, have a look at the snake, give it a little touch with the tweezers to see see that it's alive and moves. Fold that flat back down and just leave them back in the incubator tub, and they'll come out when they're ready.
Yeah.
So you're not really doing anything different to them. You're just allowing them to come out without having that worry of a deformed or no egg tooth or a broken egg tooth or something like that. So, So as I said before about this clutch, you can see. So we've already got a couple of
scabby eggs.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So I'm going to try and get all this out of here. Actually, I'm just going to move Mr. Blomack. That's decided to come out. Yeah, I know, buddy. There you go. So you got one here, got another one 3/4 of the way out. So there's a couple of nice little blondes.
Looking out and healthy.
Yeah. So always got to hold back a couple of these guys. I love my blondes. I'll just so they don't go anywhere. Put that here, and hopefully, I'll put this on paper towel and it'll just like come out in big clump.
In clumps, yes, David. You still owe me a steak, David. Yes, you do. Looking forward to the master chef cooking me a gigantic, juicy steak. Will be very nice.
Steak. That sounds pretty good. So
yes,
I'll find the eggs that have already come out, so we can get rid of those.
Drag those off.
So as you can see down in here, so I'll just peel this one back. Like this egg under here, right, is completely surrounded by two bad eggs. Filthy animals. There we go. And it's actually picked.
It's the one that's out.
No, this one down here. So you can see there's a...
Oh, yep, still in there. Yep. Oh, yeah, the one to the left's the other one that's out. Yep.
Yeah, this one here. Yep.
Yep.
And he's actually picked and his head was poking out through that tiny little dark. You can just see the tip of my tweezers, a little dark patch. That's his head there.
Yep. Yep. So a little sniff.
Yeah. So even though it was buried in, just cause he's, half the eggs, or close to half the egg is completely surrounded by rubbish. And he still survived and hatched. So,
yep.
Something we say all the time. And that's why I left it. I didn't pull his clutch apart. That's why I left it. So you could actually see that, just because there's a bad egg in the batch doesn't mean they're all going to go off.
Definitely not. I've actually seen a snake cut through the sidewall into another egg of another snake and then come out the other side of that egg. So go through his mate shell to exit out.
Yes. Let me just put these ones there in and get rid of that.
Cut them open, Dad. See what's inside.
Yeah, mate. I don't really want to put up with the smell.
Won't be good. Won't be good. Donna Bennett, kitchen finish, Brent. No. I was just saying to Daz before the show, it's 5 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. So my kitchen guy's an absolute legend, doing a brilliant job. Just having some problems with stonemason bench tops at the moment. But it will get fixed. It will be beautiful. It's looking brilliant. It's just some work still to be done.
Sometimes you need to go through a little bit of pain to achieve great things. It's worth it in the long run.
A little bit of pain. I would have been happy with a little bit, yes.
Yeah, well, it's a lot.
Ryan saying, gym's good, 4:30 a.m., 6 days a week, 2-hour sessions. That's hardcore gym work. Maybe if I'm 45 minutes and I'm gone. So a 2-hour session, that is some definite target muscle groups in a 2-hour bash.
I'm going to give Brent this one.
That's cool. Can I keep it?
Yeah, no. Let's just open it up and have a look, see where we got to.
You can probably send out one Oz post. It'd probably be legal.
Yeah. There we go. And this is at a point where this hasn't developed properly. People go, oh, check that out.
Yeah, look, it's white. That's a new morph. Super platinum. But
it's made it through to a certain point and obviously hasn't survived.
Died off.
Yeah.
Anthony named his snake Lagatha. I don't think I've got a Lagatha. I've got a Carlisi, beautiful blonde albino zebra.
Hope there's a Ragnar in there.
I don't have a Ragnar either, no.
What?
Disappointing.
You should at least have the Lothbrok family.
Yes, the whole lot of them.
The good, the bad. All right, let's just clean the crap off that. So this guy's already poked his head out. Look at that. Look at the crap on that egg.
That's putrid, isn't it?
Yeah.
But nice, healthy looking hatchie inside, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Emily's in the UK. That's why she's good morning. Look at that. Straight on out.
Tongue going. He's like, I'm not waiting. I'm free. No,
get out there.
Treat. Sorry.
Beautiful colour. With that lovely shine straight out of the egg.
Yeah.
Covered in goop.
Covered in goop. Oh, he's ready to come out. His umbilical's detached and everything.
Certainly ready. Absorbed everything and ready for outside life.
He said 3 coats of gloss. Rub back with 4,000 wet and dry. Polished up.
1 week time shed and fresh coat again.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just dry up my hands.
Chris Collett saying, with all your clutches, do you have air holes in your incubation tubs?
Yes.
We talked a bit about that last night. Yes.
It's actually interesting. I was telling Brent the other day, I had a clutch and I've actually run out incubation tubs. And I thought, I'll just chuck it in the incubator. No water, no paper, no substrate, just in a tub without anything. Just put the eggs in it as a temporary measure. And I looked in the next morning and there's humidity in the tub.
Yep,
and I just
coming out of the eggs.
Yep, and also there's obviously humidity in the incubator as well. So I've just left them. So I'm just going to leave them and see how they go.
Yeah.
Nothing in there.
I think in the late stages, they generate so much. There's so much absorption going on in the egg and gas exchanges that's going to create its own humidity in that last week, whether it's got fluid around it or not.
Yeah, and I went the air holes. I used to have a sealed tub, and that's okay if you have less clutches, I guess, because you can go there every few days, lift the lid off, wave it around, get some fresh air circulation and put it back on. But I find if you've got a double stack clutches, a lot of the containers have like a bit of a step in the lid. So if you've got holes, it just allows that extra ventilation that's required.
Yep.
So it's fine.
Absolutely. Okay. Katie's going to say what happens to the Stimson's owners when they sell. Do they still remain Stimson's or are they called Childreni? How's Park's going to work that mess? Well, that is a cracker, that one does. Wow.
Look at the little blue on the bottom of the eyelids. Yeah.
Yes. That's a keeper?
Yeah, most likely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I would say, Katie, they will merge the codes at some point, and they'll probably leave both codes for some time till they work it out. Much like some of the things that lurk in very strange areas that are Antaresia, old Liasis groups and numbers far from where they should be in the lineups. Often trying to find things sometime in the list is not exactly in order because things have changed over time, and they keep the code and change the name.
I think for a long time there were still Liasis on national parks, even though they were changed to Antaresia.
Stimsons were, yeah, they were still under that, still in that category now, but still under Antaresia now, though.
Settle down, buddy. There's no need to come out yet. You're still attached. Go on.
Very excited.
Yep. Look at this stripe in his head there.
Wow, that's very nice. Isn't it like how dark that line is down the back?
Yeah. I love the heads on them. They always have a really nice light, and they get like a little bluey tinge over the back of the eyes.
Yep.
I don't know if it shows up there much. Wow, always been a fan. Nice. I've had Blommax for a long time, and just cool. I normally don't sell them, I used to wholesale them all, but I kept back a few last year before. Yeah, that's right. I lost a clutch last year because I was away. That's right.
Yep. David says these are like real chocolate albinos from last night.
Yeah.
Definitely some chocolate and albino in that. Wall says, how far do you think you can go with Antaresia morphs,
Mate, I honestly, I think, there's a lot that's still to be done in Morelia yet, but I think we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg in Antaresia. Like, there's still a lot of combos that aren't out there or haven't been produced yet. Like Marty working on the double het T plus marble. So for those that might not be aware, the Colin Ray line T plus and the Dave Evan line T plus are incompatible T plus animals. So that combined with the marble will make a third phenotype, obviously. Something we haven't seen before. It might be similar, might be different, who knows? So just taking that T plus gene where you've got two different types. The Colin Ray line is also compatible with T plus children. So, you've got theoretically two different types of marble you can have with T plus. So two different table lines. So you could have some variation there. Might be the same, might be some variation. And then you can start throwing in you know, I'm not sure on the platinums yet. Talking to Peter Birch not long ago, he's got some theories and stuff, and one day we'll get Pete on here. We'll have a good chat about the old platinums. But
Yep.
who was it? Was it Kurt Livesley? I think I saw today or yesterday hatched out some platinum
Granites.
granite platinums.
Platinum granites, yeah.
Man, and how nice
Stunning.
do they look.
Stunning stuff.
So
very nice.
You know, you've got all that. You've got your granites, you've got marbles, you've got 2 types of T plus. Like there's so much variation in or mutations, albinos, obviously. Like so, you've got like I don't know. So what is there? 5 genes? Is there any more? So you've got quite a few different things you can mix, and then you can throw in the polygenic variation you get in as well to make different stuff as well. So you think of a Childreni T plus stimmy with a wheat belt, or you know. Some
Into
of
the different species.
WA lines, yeah, where you've got, you know, they used to call them like a pinstripe, or some people called them a giraffe wheatie or something like that, where they got a pinstripe. So there's plenty of opportunities.
Plenty of avenues.
Yeah.
David's saying this is blonde to blonde, this pairing.
Yep. This is blonde. Yeah.
Spot on, David. G'day, Carl. Coming late, Mr. Bahajar himself.
Oh,
g'day, Marty.
The devil. He must have heard me
Speak of the
talking
man.
about him. Chrome Dame himself.
And Joanne Birch as well. All the big guns in tonight.
Hey, Joe.
I'm going to catch up on the chat. I'm 10 minutes behind, Dad. You're talking too much. Yeah. Anthony's complaining he can't smell anything on his side of the screen. That's a beautiful smell that Dad's is sniffing right now. Don't worry about
that. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that was the snakes either.
Darren's tears from last night. Look at that. Right. Look at that thing does a cracker.
Yeah. Even comes with guts.
That is nice. I wasn't excited about Blonde Max, but I have to say I'm impressed.
They just kind of, I don't know whether disappeared's the right word for it, but they just, like, you know, we were talking last night about pure albino Darwin, same thing. They just kind of, you don't see many of them around because, you know, obviously people mix them in with projects and exantics to make those and so on and so forth. And just, you don't see a lot of just normal pure blondes around. You know, people put them with albinos and platinums or whatever else sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
plenty
you know,
mixing,
there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, sometimes I just think keeping, you know, a line of normal wild type pure stuff is cool. You know, take the male and do other stuff with it, but breed the nice stuff as well.
I think for years people ignored poly. You know, it was almost like a not cool. You know, it's not recessive, it's not incomplete dominance, just poly. You know, was always the word used, just poly.
Yep.
But look at this for just poly, and there's certainly plenty of projects out there like those white line marbles and things that Dave Evans and Marty have got. You know, there's some poly lines in amongst some recessive genes that are absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's it. And that, you know, like one day we'll have a show and we'll get on and we'll talk a little bit about polygenics and stuff like that. And once we get through all these egg cutting things, because I think, you know, there's the biggest eye opener for me, and I think I've said this before, and I'll repeat myself, is when I went to the States and saw the variation in albino ball pythons from high whites, high contrast, high yellows, high whites. You know, you're talking just one gene, so to speak, in the form of albinism, but so many variation because people are line breeding for those specific traits.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it gets skipped over because they just think, oh, I need an albino to put with the exanthic, but there's no kind of thought process of, well, what if I put this sort of high white albino or this banded albino or this striped albino or this high yellow albino? Over what are the results going to be? So,
nice reduced head pattern.
Yeah, you can probably see how they get that little blue tinge over the eyes.
Yep.
Almost like how an exanthic looks.
Yeah, very nice. Few ants get that. I've seen that in 2+ and a few things. It's stunning though out of the egg. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, I like them.
Very nice. Even though eggs go bad, do you still leave them in there till the end? Yeah, we certainly do. If they're not causing any issue, no problem to leave them there to the very end. I separate my eggs. Does leave some in clumps. I separate most of mine, so the fact I can rip out the odd bad one here and there without disturbing anything. But Daz has just shown it here again. Clutches with dirty rubble around them and eggs hatching perfectly in between.
For in case you didn't see, those eggs.
Yep.
We're in amongst all these eggs.
One pipping in the middle of that 3.
Yep. So, and I left them there on purpose just to show that, so you can see, because we get a lot of questions, and I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure the likes of Peter Birch and Marty, and there was Darren Boswell there before, and all these guys that have, got many years of experience, probably always asked about eggs as well. So, I just thought leave it there, and you can see then. But as Brett said, if you can remove it without actually, worrying about tearing another egg, then yeah, you can take them out. But I tend not to worry.
Yeah, let them fly.
He's just looking up at you like, hello, what's going on, mate?
So, g'day, mate. Sniffing you, see if you're a big dirty rat.
Yep, he's on point then.
You smell like one, but yeah, probably too big a meal for a first.
Yeah, and definitely this guy over here is going to be a bit of a rollback. You see a bit of the difference in the colours come up there. See how this one on my right hand's a little bit more creamier, I suppose. The other one's a little bit more grey.
Creamy pinky. Yep.
Yeah. But they'll change when they shed. That's the thing. I take them out after they've shed. Normally, I'll just leave them in their container to shed in the incubator. And then I'll have a look at the whole clutch as a whole. Sometimes I'll sex them, and I'll put all the boys in the tub and all the girls in the tub, and then I can have a good look. I might think I only want to keep a couple of boys and a few girls. So, you've got to make those sacrificial decisions when it comes to holding stuff back. You can't always keep everything. Unless, of course, it's really good, then you find room.
It's been done before, but it's not ideal for space and food consumption in the next years.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
David's saying, is there much crossing max to children? Well, everything in Teresia is going to be crossed now. While there's morphs in each species, we're going to see everything getting mixed all over the place.
Yeah, not everyone is going to. I know, for example, Birchie, he likes to keep all his stuff within its own subspecies, so you only do Mac to Mac, children's to children's, which is cool. Each their own, and you still got some stunning animals, and then you've got other people that are mixing everything. I'm on the side that if it's genetic and you're making the pairing for a genetic reason, then you go for it. I don't just cross children with a stimmy for the sake of it. I would, if it was a T plus and I was trying to get that pattern or something like that in there, that would be my reason to it.
Granite Mac or something, something with a planned outcome, not just a couple of wild types together.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys. So this one over here on the right's quite a nice colour one.
Nice and light.
See if I can just lighten him up a little bit. He's getting a bit shaded by the phone. That way.
Very nice. A variation in the colour, just even in those 3. It's crazy.
Yeah, see the one there's a bit darker.
Bit like my bench tops.
That's actually quite dark, that one. It's quite interesting. Yeah,
deep
like,
colour.
Yeah.
Deep colour.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I'm happy. Probably get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Beautiful.
So, I think it was 14, I think.
5.5. Bring it on.
That'd be nice.
Very good.
You like the odds even. I didn't want the odds even last night. They were the wrong odds last night. In terms of colour.
Chasing albinos. Yes, wild type for the win. John's saying, have either of you bred large snakes before, like olive pythons? You bred them before, Daz?
No, not olives. Nope.
No? I know you had a few back in the day.
Yeah, I had a few. I lost.
You have the one on the can of the might spray.
Yeah, yep. I can't remember. I lost the male. I can't remember what happened to the male. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago, because that one that I've got, the one female I have, she exists on the yellow top of descent or the mite spray. What's it called now? I think snake reptile mite spray or something with the yellow can. So
Yep. Used
have a
to
look
be
at
top of
that.
descent.
Yeah, the olive python. That's my girl. You can the determining. Well, what makes it obvious is the fact she actually broke a jaw when she was little. So,
got that look to it.
Yeah, so she actually, if you have a look at the can, she actually got a bit of a bent jaw. She struck the rat when I was feeding her and hooked the jaw on the bottom of the container and impacted and folded it back over. And I wonder why she was taking so long to eat the rat, and she was actually folding the jaw in and out of her mouth underneath.
Well, that's some jaw pressure.
Yeah, I took her out I managed to remove it, took it out to Terry Bellarmine because she was only fairly young. She was like, there's nothing you can do. Don't feed it.
Yeah,
I said, all right.
Let it repair.
Yeah, she said, leave it for a month and then just basically feed it something small, which I did. And, so she got this little smile. But when I used to wholesale or had my own business wholesaling for URS back in the day, I used to deal with Kellington Direct to make it. Because I used to do a lot of venomous rescues and wild rescues and stuff like that, I'd always, often they'd have to come home here for rehabilitation. So I was always a concern with mite. So I used to use it. Anything I picked up, I just sprayed the bag with a bit of top of the centre, was called back in those days, and spray it. So because I was dealing with them direct, they actually asked me if I could bring down a snake and show them how to use it. And long story short, I took down the olive, took down one of the URS enclosures I had and set it all up and showed them. They took a heap of photos and they said, can we use this on our cans? I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries. That's how she ended up. But so I still got her. The other one I sold at a reptile show going back a few years, another female. And I lost the male. I can't remember. That was, the olive, she's probably close to, I think I bought her in like 2003 or something or other.
Yep.
So she's getting up towards 18 years or something like that. So I probably lost him probably 15 years ago. And I've always wanted olives and like the albinos, but just kind of had the one girl, Ginger. Was Fred and Ginger was the two. And just never bothered replacing it. So
just one that hangs around.
Yeah, she's just a pet. Gets fed. Only eats a medium, large rat. She can't eat much bigger just because she struggles with the size in her jaw.
Yep. Keeps her in check though, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, she's not a massive girl, She's not 10 kilos or anything like that. She's probably only maybe 3 or 4 kilos. She's not a monster, but she's a good girl. So she'll
healthy age. Yeah, healthy for the age.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Darren Boswell saying it'd be good to see how those granite platinums develop. Yeah, absolutely. Old mate, Mr. Kurt Livesley's always got a couple of little secret projects he pops up there with occasionally.
Yeah, he does. Definitely got some nice stuff.
Doesn't make a lot of noise until they're out and about.
Yeah.
So, very, very bright future with Anne's, says Marty. Yes, well, the next one that Mr. Boswell says, striped marbles. Marty could probably talk a little bit about striped marbles at some point.
Yeah, what do we call those? Strables?
There's going to be some interesting names over the next few years. Very interesting.
Yeah. Very out to
Darren Boswell. He's got some Bob Whitey's Pure Blonde still. That'd be going back long time polygenic lines of Bob's, going way back many years.
Yeah, well, they were the two of the biggest breeders of blondes going back, I guess, 15 years. It was Bob Withy and Shane Scarf.
Yep.
Both got bucket loads of experience, those two blokes. Nice guys too, if you ever get the chance to meet them and say hello.
Good fellas.
Yeah.
Anthony, Albino Darwin is what got me into pythons. Mate, it got most people in, don't worry. It was a game changer for sure.
Certainly. I think having that yellow snake when it first popped out, when we had nothing like that, it was certainly very cool.
Very cool. What do you think on David saying thoughts on maternal incubation, Daz?
Yeah, I'm going to have a bit of a go at it next year. I called Peter Birch, because he's done quite a bit over the last few years, to have a bit of a chat to him about it and, the ups and downs and the setup and making sure it's all right. And I think it's good. I think if you've got your setup right and everything's suited to doing maternal incubation, mate, I think it's well. If you look at the results that Pete's having, it's almost better than artificial incubation. The only downside would be the fact that you've got a female sitting on eggs for another 6 to 8 weeks.
60 days. Yeah,
depending on whether it's Antaresia or Morelia. So that period of time, you're not able to put condition back onto that female for your following breeding season. So that's the biggest downside, and that's normally the reason why most people take it off. So once you've taken the clutch off the female, they normally go back on their food within the next couple of days. And you got 2 months of feeding a snake, whereas the other way, she's sitting there using energy with trying to keep those temperatures, regulating the temperatures and shivering the body. What's it called? Mind blank now. But shivering on the eggs, keeping them to the right temperature, so she uses and consumes energy during that whole time. I have heard of them actually taking feeds, but I've also heard it's not recommended because you don't want them to take a big turd all over the over the eggs either.
Yes.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Very cool process to see. I've only done it once 10, 11 years ago, just as one experimental with some albino Darwin hets back in the day. Too stressful for me, scared shit out of me, 70 days and things not coming out. Eggs look terrible. I just couldn't handle the lack of control of it, and it wasn't perfectly set up looking back either. So it was a definite learning curve. But like I say, I know Dave Raptor did a couple in the last few years and said the hatchies were fantastic, big, strong, robust, ate well. He was very impressed with the results of the snakes that came out.
Yeah.
So possibly something in the mix of it.
Yeah. Well, Pete's saying he's getting the same sort of thing in the results with his ants. All the babies are coming out big and strong and healthy, and fully absorbed the yolk and all that sort of stuff. And I listened to the podcast the other day, or you might have told me when I was talking to him, but he actually had a female coil up on eggs, and there was 2 left to the side. So he left her to maternally incubate those, took the other eggs and put them in the incubator.
Yep.
The eggs that she coiled up hatched 10 days. No, it was 14 days. Someone might remember. It was 10 or 14 days prior to the ones in the incubator hatching.
Yeah,
so
well.
They all hatched, but so the ones maternally incubated actually, that's a huge, huge percentage difference.
Yep. And you'd think it'd be the other way. You'd think the maternal stuff would be at lower temps a lot of the time and take a bit longer.
Yeah, that's it. So it's fascinating sort of stuff. So there's got to be some sort of benefits of it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Garth/Faye Rankin in the house. G'day, Faye. Richard wants to see your nicest adult blonde, Daz. You don't see many around.
They're buried in the front room.
They're the furthest room from where you're at.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they'll probably eat me too. I might be able to find a photo.
Try and dig one out. Craig Bailey, Bob on the Central Coast back then. Certainly was. I think he's still on the Central Coast, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When's the next egg cut? Justin Norman. Well, we don't know, mate. we check every morning. I checked this morning. I had nothing. Darren had nothing, but by lunchtime, everything changes. So when they come, they come. I've certainly got a couple due in the next few days. We'll just see what pokes its head out.
Yeah. I know there's a ghost pepper clutch due. It was laid on the 1st of the 10th, so it's not far. It was sitting underneath the clutch of albino Darwins we picked last night, so maybe being a bit cooler, might be a little bit longer. But
getting closer to 60 days, though.
Yeah. So hopefully they're not too far off. I've actually moved them back up. So every time something gets picked, there's a big shuffle around in the incubator. So all the stuff that's picked gets shoved down the bottom and everything gets moved up into the warmer temperatures to try to speed up, I guess, what's left of the incubation process. And I took my sheets inside. What else have we got? There's going to be a whole heap of mixed carpet stuff. I know there's a couple more ant clutches. I think there's some more T-Plus marble clutches coming. And then we'll start cracking into some variation of Morelia then. I know there's like pure jungles, and there's jungle jags and jungle zeb jags, and there's pepper jag clutches. The list goes
Plenty
on.
coming.
Yeah, double pepper albino clutches. Yeah. So I just don't have my list in front to see what was next on it, unfortunately.
Yep.
Just making sure
plenty more coming.
Yeah.
Faye saying this, getting the right setup for maternal makes things much easier. Certainly, yes, doing the right research and providing the correct environment. And the snakes can do a fair bit, but you give them all the tools that they need to get the temps and humidity right. Certainly much better results.
Definitely. Yep.
Here's a question from Lunga. Throw that. It probably won't fit on the screen, does it? You can click on it.
Oh, sorry, just before that one, Kurt's said 14 days. There you go. That was the Peter Birch thing, 14 days. And even his albino.
14 days earlier. Yeah. That's insane. Insane amount of variation.
Yeah. I can try to. It's not quite going to get it all. Can you read it all?
Yeah, I can see it on itself. I bought a 3-week-old albino zebra sunglow. Now the screen's moving. 1 second. It's an interesting question because I see so many problems with this straight off the bat. Bought a 3-week-old albino zebra sunglow, and after 3 days of having her, gave her a pinky mouse. She looked like she was still hungry. Offered her a second one. An hour later, she ate it. My heat mat wasn't quite keeping up with the temperature, so increased the temperature. Then 2 days later, she regurgitated them. Is that normal, or is there something I can do to improve her environment? Well, I'll start, Daz. From the first sentence, I bought a 3-week-old albino zebra sunglow. I don't know anybody who can buy a 3-week-old snake because clearly that was not have shed and established itself feeding. So how you got a 3-week-old snake yourself, however it came to be, but that's far too early and obviously not established in feeding. 3 days of having her gave her a pinky mouse. 3 days of having her is way too early. You want to let that settle in for at least a week before you try and feed it. And then giving a pinky mouse is far too small of a meal for a carpet unless that animal was extremely small. A pinky mouse probably should have been a pinky rat or at least a hopper mice. So a little bit small. Yeah, she probably looked hungry because that wasn't much of a feed. It probably didn't put much of a lump in her. Offered her a second one, which is fine, which will help, but still not very. 2 pinky mice is still not even close to a hopper mouse with a bit of fur and bone in it.
Even a fuzzy mouse.
Yeah, fuzzy at least. I start all carpets on hopper mice straight off the bat, or pinky rats. And yes, the answer's right there to your question. My heat mat wasn't quite keeping up with the temperature, so I increased it, and she regurgitated them 2 days later. Generally regurgitated because there was not enough heat, and they will not digest the food, so they'll spit it out before it goes toxic and kills them inside them. So that's definitely not normal for an animal to regurg. Something upsets them, or they feel they can't digest the food, or not enough temperature to digest the food is generally the problem. So I'd be checking that setup. You definitely want to see 31 hotspots there consistently, and with a temp gun. Don't believe your thermostat, because your probe placement will change and lie to you, and there'll be certainly variation there, but get a little temp gun so you can check warm end, make sure you've got 31. Try something bigger, let it settle a little bit, and certainly now that it's regurgitated, if this was a recent thing, let it sit for a couple of weeks at least. That bringing up of stomach acids and all sorts of things. Snakes regurging is very bad on their system. It's very not cool. So a fair bit going on there, Lunga. I hope you can work that one out. Feel free to message Daz and he'll help you more with that.
Brent's got more experience than me. But the other thing too is like
message either of us.
Yeah, handling as well. Like I'm not saying you have or did, but for anyone, if you feed your snake, leave it alone. For goodness sakes, don't handle it, don't play with it. Give that animal the time to build up those fluids and digest and get that food down. And also, just going back to the heat mat and temperature thing, be aware of the room you have it in terms of temperature. So if you've got it like, oh, you're not allowed to keep that in the house, keep it out in the garage, and your garage is getting down to 5 degrees at night time, you might have a hotspot of 33 degrees, but if it's just sitting in a tub on a shelf, it's freezing. Like you might be sitting on a heat mat, but it's going to be freezing. So you need to be aware of the ambient temperatures around that animal as well. So
may need some insulation, wrapping a towel around it. I've often told people it's like laying on your front yard in winter on an electric blanket. Your stomach might be warm, but your back's going to be absolutely freezing. It doesn't quite cut it. So a little bit of insulation around tubs sometimes can help the ambient stay up a bit. But Lunga, if you need help, certainly reach out. There's some quite a few things going on there that could be better for that animal and less stressful for you going through that process as well.
Yeah, there's something interesting, Joe, going on back to talking about the maternal incubation, something Joe's Birch said, much stronger 8 out of 10 feed first go. So that's always a good thing in anyone's books to get stuff that wants to smash down food straight off the bat.
You'd nearly do it if that was a factor and consistent. You'd nearly do maternal just to get that result.
100%. Because let's face it, blew me away actually when I was over in the States. I was talking to them, when I was at Brian Barczyk's facility, and they have thousands and thousands, and they actually had baby corns out at the time.
Yep.
And they're literally going taking defrosted mice and putting them on a little container, like just a little lid of a little container or lid in the thing. And I'm like, don't you have to get them to eat? No. I literally smell it, come home and just eat it.
Straight onto it.
Well bred into captivity and obviously bred to feed so well from obviously the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that have been bred in captivity over there. Yeah, and they're just attuned to, like, she said, no, just take them out and put them on there. Because I'm like, how the hell, you imagine sitting there feeding 10,000 corn snakes or 5,000 corn snakes and milk snakes and all that sort of stuff. The way, we do try to get things feeding. So, anything to make them feeding better, it's a massive time saver. Absolutely.
Joe Birch saying much stronger. Oh, yeah, you got that one 8 out of 10. And alb to alb clutches as well, very strong, no kinks. Eat like no tomorrow. Pete's doing some great work with the albino stuff up there. It's good for the hobby because they're certainly a problematic line for a little while. Hopefully those issues are gone and we can enjoy that morph more in the hobby.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So we met Somerville, just got a nice maternally incubated clutch of native GTPs. That's nice. So did Luke Neffine. He had a post the other day as well. So they're the first two that I've heard of actually maternally incubating GTPs.
Yeah.
So, which is,
in Australia.
It's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if people have done that overseas or not, but out here, it's the first I've heard of. I don't know everything that goes on, but I reckon that's awesome.
Beautiful to see that. It's nothing nicer than seeing some hatchies coming out of a mother's coils.
Oh, absolutely. Little golden little yellow heads poking out. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Mark Taylor also having some success with maternally incubated. Don't give me your bad tongue, Daz. All of this has eaten from the get-go this season, which is always a lot of pressure off.
Yeah, that's good. Well, there's some more evidence towards that. It'd be interesting actually hear anybody else that's done maternal incubation, how they find getting their hatchies to feed.
Yep, certainly a cool process to see.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, let's say, sacrifice a couple of carpets next year, I think, to give it a go, set them up, nice nest boxes and everything, and see how they go.
Yep, let's get some sphagnum moss in there, a bit of humidity and something in insulation as well. Yeah. Get the heat lamp set up in the right spot.
It's handy being able to talk to people that have done it and have a bit of experience in the hobby that are more than happy to help. So, to be able to get a little bit of experience from someone else to make sure you're ticking all the boxes to give yourself the best chance is always good.
Yep.
Certainly seems to be more people doing it. Yeah.
Yep. We'll try and smash these last few questions there, mate, so I can go back to painting. We're going to do a quick show. We just got to an hour. This is quick for you. Carl Smith saying this is also why Lamb is better than Matt half the time. I think both can work. I prefer Lambs, definitely. Matt can be done right in a tub with the right sort of insulation and right setup. certainly achievable, but I think lamp is more natural overhead heat, how it happens in the wild. Also risk associated with lamp. Definitely a good quality thermostat, because if you have a lamp, even 50 watt in a small setup, go full noise, you will have one fried snake.
And a cage on top of that as well, especially if you run ceramics. Ceramics get extremely hot. I mean, like in the 200 plus degrees Celsius.
Yes, I have plugged one in before and temp gunned it at 220 degrees. It gets glowing red in the center of it, which is not good for anything underneath it.
No, definitely not. So yeah, definitely a cage. Any above heating, always have a cage, whether it be an infrared or not. That light is off, particularly with an infrared where the heat in the incandescent bulb gets hot quickly. That light's off. That snake goes, I'm going to go for cruiser and enclosure, wraps around the light bulb because it's off. Suddenly it turns on, and it is really hot really quick, and that snake will get burnt. So, if you're going to have any sort of above heating with a ceramic or heat lights, then always put a cage on it for a snake.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Faye, hey Daz, are all those max there accounted for? How long's your waiting list, mate? How many you got in the book?
There's a few promises that have been made. So, I'll have to. It depends on sexes. So, but certainly, Faye, I know you've been interested for a while. So, if there's enough sexes to split around, there'll be
something around.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's a more balanced, like a 50-50 ratio will be good.
I hope for you that one, mate. I pray you get an even split on that one. I'm on your team there. I won't skew the odds on that one on you.
That's nice. Thanks, mate.
Screwed
my odds last night.
Hey, it was close. It was just, I didn't go too hard on you. Just one extra for me. That's all I needed.
Yeah. All right, so where are we up to? Counterfort? We're up to Gaz. Do you think ants are good kids first snake? Depends who you talk to.
Most of the time, yes. Mate, there are some. They're like people. Some are just assholes. Some are fantastic. I find spotteds a lot of the time not cool. Maybe it's my line, but a lot of the time my spotteds are quite angry little things. Most of the stimmies I've got are very good. It's just a mixed bag. I don't think you can put it down to any particular species or any particular morph makes any difference to them, but most of them are very good, and I find by the time they're 12 months old, they're very good. So generally, yes. Generally, a good snake, due to the size of them, they can grow together, and even if they do copper bite, it's not even going to break the skin. It's not like you're going to cop a bite from a hatchy olive. That's not going to be cool for kids. It'll scar them for life. So what do you reckon, Daz? You've seen a few wild ones in your time, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think there's other questions that need. How old's a kid? How happy are they? I've seen kids that are 5 and 6 get smashed by snakes and don't care and laugh, and then you got other kids that the snake strikes and they run hiding in the next room. So I normally reference people. What are you interested in? All snakes can be a good first snake for a kid subject to age. You might be talking about a 13-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid, a 15-year-old kid. So it's all relative. So I think that's the first question. The first question I normally ask people is, what are you interested in? That's priority number one. Like if you're thinking about getting a children's python just because it's small, but you actually prefer an albino Darwin, my advice would be, well, go for the albino Darwin if that's what you like. Don't buy something if you're not as interested in something else. Go for what you like. Even though they get bigger, they can often be, albino Darwins are often, extremely placid sort of snake. Other things like, what do you want to keep in your freezer? Do you want to have an extra large rat in the freezer next to mum's steak, or some adult mice or wiener rats, or sort of thing for your Antaresia, depending on what you've got. So there's that consideration, and then obviously a budget consideration and a housing consideration. So can you do you have room for say a 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot enclosure for an adult, Darwin or Murray Darling or something or other, or you're limited on space. It's got to go in your kids' room, and you only want to have a 3-foot enclosure. So there's all those considerations to go with. I actually think is it a good snake for your kids first is one of the later questions. I think it's what do you like, how much you're prepared to spend, how much room do you have, and then you can make your pick on that. So, because I think every snake can be good. Some are
definitely in the right setup. Yep.
Yeah, some are complete turds, and it doesn't matter what it is. You can get ones that just strike and snap and carry on like no tomorrow, and others that are fantastic, absolutely placid. So, and it's in any species. I've seen the most calmest, beautiful jungle carpet pythons you've ever seen, and I've had some of the most angriest asshole palmerston jungles you've ever seen. You couldn't even walk in the room without them smashing the glass on the tank. So, yeah, I think it's a bigger question than that. That's my opinion anyway. I'm sure everyone's got a different one.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Taylor's question there. It's amazing how the mothers know best. They even block up their entry hole to the nest box with sphagnum moss. Keep their temp spot on. Mother Nature at its best. Absolutely, mate. That's I see that even with the girls that you take the eggs from. Quite often they'll block the entry day a day or two before they lay to get the humidity and temps right where they want them.
Yeah, you got to remember earlier as well.
Yeah, definitely. In the wild, these snakes would go and seek out a lay spot in an area they know is going to be dry and protected, and make their own setup, leaf and mulch, and make their own little perfect environment for where the best they can deliver those eggs. So we sadly take that away in captivity. So we give them what they have, and they'll use what they have given to them. So if they're just left in a tub, they will just lay right there on the tub if there's nothing else, no other option for them. But the more tools we give them, they will certainly use them, and they do know best. They know exactly what they're doing. They really do not need our input. If we can give them what they need, they will get it done.
And I think that's the key to it, what you said right there, Brent. If we give them what they need.
Yes. Yep. And in environment, temperature, sphagnum moss, everything. It's location. It's the difference.
100%.
Well, yeah, Katie's saying she's melted stuff with ceramics, left the probe out after cleaning. Easily done, very dangerous. Hopefully you didn't have any losses, because ceramics not cool. Well, look at Faye throwing out the trade bait here. I've got 3 pairs of Xanthic BHPs. Well, Daz. Hey, suddenly now you're interested in a little bit of trading now. I can see something going on behind the scenes.
Oh, man, and how the world goes around.
Yeah, watch this space. Bo says, when's the Sunglow clutches coming? When you got Sunglows up, Daz? You'd have some in mixed blood stuff coming, surely?
That'll be in the Moonglow clutch. Might be some in there. I don't think I've got anything else. My Sunglow Jag didn't go. I was really looking forward to that clutch, hopefully. She's mated, and we're not all successful, even though we might seem to be. We don't always get everything we want. I had a Ghost Zeb go over a Sunglow Jag, which would have made a cracking clutch 2 years in a row, and multiple matings, and she's never produced a clutch for me yet.
Yep.
So that would have been nice. What else have I put in there? I'd have to go and check.
There'll be some in there. There'll be mixed blood clutches. You're not really thinking Sunglow, but they'll be in there. They'll be not hard to see a couple in a few clutches, I'm sure.
Yeah. I've got a few Sunglows here. Sunglow Jags and stuff. I like the Sunglow Jags. They're really nice. So I've got a Sunglow Zeb Jag as well. He'll be on the duty next year, so he'll be up with a couple of girls. So that'll be some pretty cool clutches, and you might have some other jobs coming up too. We'll see what gets to size next season.
Another 100 clutches coming up for Daz next year.
My wife will kill me, and I'll be moving into a warehouse by myself.
You'll need a warehouse, pal, with all your holdbacks this season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So that's good news. Katie didn't melt anything. It was just in the cleaning process. Very good. And that's a point everyone's got to be aware of, if not particularly on Katie's setup. It's something that just struck my brain. When you are cleaning and you have a bank of 4 enclosures and you have a probe in one, and you decide to empty that enclosure and clean it, spray it, and suddenly the probe thinks it's 15 degrees and pumps maximum heat, you can see your other 3 enclosures just light up with extreme levels of heat very fast. So keep in mind that things connected to each other. I've seen people mess me before, accidentally left a door open on one, that was empty. It had the probe in it, and suddenly it thought it was 20 degrees, so it's pumping full noise, and suddenly the other enclosures are 50 degrees. So just be very mindful about probe placement. If you're going to have an empty enclosure, lock the thing and put a note on the door or something. I've certainly seen some sad stories come from probes falling out of the back of racks even, and things getting on the extreme levels of heat.
Yep. And if you're going to run a bank of 4 enclosures off one thermostat, then it would be a wise choice to have a digital thermometer in each one, just so you can monitor those temps easily and visually.
Yep.
So if the thermostat does die for whatever reason, you can go in there and all your enclosures are sitting at 40 degrees. And I've had it myself. It's cost me a pair of scrubbies when I was away on holidays. So killed one and gave the other one heat stroke so bad he died 6 months later.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, the thermostat, my wife goes, something stinks in the reptile room. I was in Western Australia at the time. My wife goes, something stinks in the reptile room. I'm like, well, I haven't fed anything for 2 weeks because I knew I was going away.
And, it's bad.
And she goes, and the scrubby's right at the front of the glass. I'm like, what? I said, what's the probe say? She goes, 40 degrees. I'm like, that's no good. And it was one of the old, this is a long time ago, mid-2000s. It was a shitty black box thermostat thing.
Yep.
And mate, I got home and they were the most placid scrub pythons I've ever seen. Like absolute pussycats. I've never seen a scrub python that was so gentle. And I literally went around my house and smashed every single one of those thermostats, working or not, didn't care, just every single one. And I filled every enclosure with a microclimate then.
Yep.
But yeah.
Poor Ness. Not like Ness is about to jump in there and, be messing with the scrubbies either. It's terrible situation. You'd be better off just pulling the plug and let it be cold than let it be hot, sadly.
Yeah, sadly. She didn't survive no matter what I tried, but she, looked like she had, she got heat stroke and, sadly. Once they get over, I think it's 37, up the creek without a paddle pretty much.
Yeah, certainly for an extended period too. It's not like it's a 4-hour window when you're on that heat for a long time.
Yeah, and I was away for 2 weeks,
so cool.
God knows what time it had gone off. Obviously, one had been hot enough for it to die and start to stink, which was pretty sad. But, anyway, let's move on.
Let's go. Well, that's about the end of the question time for us, Daz. So for a quick cut, an hour and 13 minutes wasn't too bad for you who talks too much.
I haven't said a word all night. What's wrong?
It always happens that way. So where do people find you, Mr. Darren Whittaker?
Darren Whittaker on Facebook, Morelia by Design, on Facebook and Instagram. And yourself, Mr. Smith?
Brent KHP Reptiles and Brent Smith Messenger, which never stops. And this should have went to your YouTube as well. So we'll keep trying to update that YouTube and get that thing up and going in time.
Yep, we'll get a little bit more professional as we get along and learn what we're actually doing with YouTube. So
takes a bit of time setting up. So
yeah, we'll get it.
Well, Robert says, "Cheers, mate. Good show. Thanks for dropping in again, Wal. A couple of regulars there all the time. We can't do much about the professional look of Darren's head, but there might be some editing software or something we can get him some sort of mask, pretty him up a bit."
Well, surgery's a little bit too much at the moment. So,
you're back in the gym now. You'll become more beautiful in time, anyway. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe other parts of my body will. Head won't change much. Still be a buff head.
Well, at least he'll have some buff head with some muscles. That's always better.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone again for watching and coming in. For those who did, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks, guys.
No worries. Thanks, guys. See you later.